Let's take a look at Friday. There are 12 games on in the NBA. Who's in, who's out? What are we looking at? What are we watching for? What are the important things to take note of? One of those is the legend that is Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and is it Neems or Memes or Memos? I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Twitter, as always, at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. That part is just so automatic that I actually forgot to tell you to go to Blue Sky, joshloyd.bsky.social. Go follow me there. joshloyd.bsky.social. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Get a big return on FanDuel with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Go to FanDuel.com right now to get started. Also, check out LockedOnDaily.com. Newsletters, favorite team, all that stuff. All the information that you could possibly want is over there. Double bang this as well. Someone asked, what's the best way to double bang? Is it, or if you don't have time to the double bang, which is watching video and listening audio, what's the best? It's probably listening on audio, honestly, in terms of how that remunerates me. What's the bloody word? Remunerate. Anyway, pays me. Audio. But I love the video side of it as well. I want both of them done. But if you had to pick one, audio is more beneficial overall in terms of, paying me and keeping these studio lights on. Let's quick just schedule update of what we're doing. I'm not going to have a traditional recap show. There's one game on. I don't think that's useful. There's going to be another show today, don't worry. It'll be a little bit different. But I'm not going to be sitting there going through the Dallas-Utah game necessarily. Understand, though, that Dallas and Utah play Thursday and then they play Saturday, Sunday. They're the only team with this schedule. So what looks interesting, and if you're streaming someone in on Thursday, for either of those teams, it's probably worth holding through Saturday, Sunday, because they're the only 3-game and 4-night teams going on here. Let's kick it across to Friday. There are 12 games on. Not really a streaming day. Now, obviously, there are players getting injured, and you might have availability, so we'll go through each of these games and take a look at what opportunities have opened up potentially, what ones have closed off as well, with players returning from injury. Let's go to the first game. We're talking about the Philadelphia 76ers. They're going to my Orlando Magic. Schedule-wise, there are some absolutely wacky schedules coming up, by the way, over this week, but week 5, like some insane schedules. This is the final game for the Sixers and the Magic this week. It always seems to happen, doesn't it? When something really interesting pops up on the waiver wire, like Jared McCain, he's done it again, is one more game this week, and then we've got 2 days off. We go, what do we do now? Like, it happens a lot. Both these teams finish Friday, and then they have 4 games next week. So it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday for Philly, and Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday for the Magic. So Tyrese Maxey will be out. I'm going to guess that Embiid and Paul George play. They missed the last game due to the back-to-back. No reason for me to think that they won't, so I'll put them in. The big avocado, Andre Drummond, sat out the last game. Putting him questionable. He is officially questionable. And then on the Magic side of things, Banchero's out. And I have no idea about Wendell Carter Jr., We haven't heard an update on whether he is actually available at this point. I am currently listing him as doubtful, and I do think, he has officially been ruled out. So there you go. So we do have that official news there on Wendell. That's not a surprise. We keep rolling with Gogo, and we can try Mo Wagner in that spot as well. On the Sixers, it is about watching Jared McCain, because he popped off last game. Absolutely no one's debating that. He was great in a game with no Embiid, no Maxey, no George. Now, I'm not sure if you're aware. I don't think Kelly Oubre is very good. So it is possible that McCain is able to start, at least over Kyle Lowry, or over Kelly Oubre long term. But getting that volume with that efficiency and those assists is an impossible task. He's fine to look at. He's fine to stream in. What's that stupid thing that shops put on their sign? Lovely to look at, fancy to hold, but if you break it, consider it sold. Wow, that's so original. Haven't seen that in 25 million shops. Anyway, McCain's good, right? But a rookie at that efficiency, that level of usage on this sort of a team seems very unlikely to hold. But we roll with it for now. On the Magic, Jalen Suggsy Suggs. Well, he sugged last game. He was terrible. Shot poorly, but everything else was great. And that's the thing that, especially in a category league, you can get hung up on percentages. That's why I often will be like, and you know what I talk about, the variance in percentages and low volume stats can be a week-to-week killer. And it can make you ride the highs and lows to a degree that, you haven't really done in fantasy sports. Because you go, man, he shot horribly. The next game, it's like, man, he's the best. He shot 90%. Dalton Connect, shout out. All right? And none of that's real. So when you go into a situation where you punt one of the percentages, or you punt both of the percentages, or you punt the low volumes, you get sneaky wins all the time. You will get them because of the randomness of it. I don't know where I'm going with this. Well, Suggs, yeah. Everything else was good. He just didn't shoot well. And I am pretty sure he's going to shoot way better than what we saw. Stream, guys. McCain's advanced roster number is through the roof on Basketball Monster. I think it's up to 90. Maybe it's 80. Like, it's way higher than the cutoff I use, so that's why he's not on the stream. But, yep, do it. Caleb Martin, just low upside, but baseline production is solid. And then Mo Wagner probably on the Magic side because Goga Badadze has been snagged in most spots, rightfully so. And I think he'll be dropped in those spots later on, rightfully so as well. The Detroit Pistons, that is the next game. It is up against the Toronto Raptors in Toronto. Automatically just knock points off the Pistons because, unfortunately, they have to go to Canada and it's harder to play when you're depressed. So what are we looking at in this game schedule-wise? Detroit Friday, Sunday, Toronto Friday, Saturday, and then both teams 3 games next week with a weird schedule. Monday, Thursday, Saturday for Detroit, so 2 games off in the start of the week, and Monday, Thursday, Sunday for Toronto. So another 2 days, the Raptors without, so they got the 2 days off, play Thursday, 2 days off. So there's a 1 game in 5 night stretch there for Toronto. And that is the 10th weirdest schedule thing for next week. What a tease that is. You wait till you get to the stupid ones later. Asar Thompson's out. Bobby Klintman's out. We did get some official updates. I was guessing on some of these statuses, but Tim Hardaway is officially doubtful. Simone Fontecchio is officially doubtful as well. I believe Jaden Ivey is officially questionable, so we got that one. So it was just the Fontecchio one where I had him in, but he's probably not going to play. Barnes, Quickly, Olynyk, Bruce Brown, and Jacoby Walter, I believe, are all going to be out on the Toronto side of the ledger. So what are we watching? Cade Cunningham. I think he's been awesome this season. I know people sometimes can't always read what I'm saying on my level of sarcasm. And bad luck. I'm going to keep doing it. But yeah, Cade is awesome. I've been on Cade for a long time. There are people who dispel his fantasy value because of turnovers or field goal percentage. And like I said, I don't care. Don't care at all. He's been great. He's putting up big numbers. We're getting a little bit of a sprinkling of defensive stats as well. And I just want to see that continue. For the Raptors, what I do want to see is someone who I've hated for category leagues, and that's Rowan Barrett. But I was marginally in this season because I thought I'd figured it out. You can't shoot threes, don't take them. You can't shoot middies, stop taking them. Get to the rim. And he said, I fooled you guys. I played 10 games in Toronto, and now I'm back to missing threes and taking mid-ranges. Thanks, man. Really sick. Love that from you. You're an awesome, awesome guy. And he is a good guy. But it's annoying. So we watch it. Does he go back into inefficient, terrible player RJ Barrett or the better version we saw? And I think Barnes and Quickly playing will help him, although he did it last season without those guys anyway. What am I streaming in here? It is Leaky Beasley. No Hardaway, no Fontecchio. Leaky dropped a big game last game, 10 rebounds. Don't expect that, but like 21 points and 7 threes is actually not a surprise if he does it. And then on the Raptors side, no Quickly, we're looking at Davion Mitchell. He might have a single-double. 0 points and 10 assists with 3 steals. And that's what you're looking at. There's a lot of those players sort of floating around at the moment. Chris Dunn for the Clippers is one of those. Where DeLon Wright we saw yesterday as well. For the Bucks, like you get no scoring, but assists and steals will come your way. And I think that is what we hope for or expect from Davion. Today's episode is brought to you by Robinhood. With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon. You don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks that are usually reserved for the high society. Now, the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 4.25% APY on uninvested cash and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on IRA account contributions. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply. For product-specific disclosures, visit robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC. All right. the next game. What are we on to here? That was the Pistons and the Raptors, the third game of the day. We're talking about the Miami Heat and the Indiana Pacers. We're going to Indiana for this one. No spread or total available here. The Heat play Friday, Sunday, and then look at their schedule. There you go. There's a weird one. Monday, Sunday. What? So they have a Sunday, Monday back-to-back, and then they don't play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. What? 5 days off in a row. What's going on? That's insane. So, if you're considering a Jovic, why would you? A Highsmith, a Jaquez, like, after Monday, don't. Too big a gap. That's a crazy gap. Indiana, more normal schedule. Friday, Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. And I say it's a crazy gap, but let me, again, state my opinion here clearly. I think the NBA plays way too many games. Always. I think there's way too many games. We don't need teams to play 4 times a week. If teams played Monday, Thursday, Tuesday, Friday, twice a week, I think it would be actually really good. We focus in on the league. We can watch more games, less injuries, more effort, all that sort of stuff. But we don't. It is 82 games. So when I see a schedule that's Monday, Sunday, I go, what's going on? Why are we playing? These team now is this weird, not even disadvantage, but like why is it so large compared to everyone else? Because it's not like the whole structure of the league's changing. It's just a random huge gap for Miami. And we have to deal with the reality of where we are in fantasy at the moment and how things play out and understand that is weird and that is strange and I don't know why they're doing it. Jimmy Butler's out. Just really trying to dig that new contract in, so he's sitting out again. Nikola Jovic, who somehow got his face rearranged and is available to play. I don't really know that. I don't really know why, actually. I don't know how. Maybe how is the right word. How is he available to play? I think he's probably the big question. It's pretty weird, man. I just did not expect that was what we'd be seeing, but there we go. Andy Nembhard and Aaron Nesmith remain out for Indiana. Obi Toppin not on the injury report. Tyler Hero is shooting the absolute lights out. He's hitting like almost 5 threes a game. He's at like 50% from 3 over his last 7 games. His assist rates are very good, and that might actually hold. But the shooting won't. So we'll just keep watching it. All I'm looking for is an ability to rub it in people's faces who said that I'm stupid for saying it's a sell high. That is all I live for, is to punch down on small people, always. I can't wait for that opportunity. Tallying them up, receipts. Not really. I don't care. Because I know that Tyler Hero is going to cool down. And what I want to see is Tyrese Halliburton do the opposite. I want him to cool up. That's the wrong phrase. Heat up. Because this guy is shooting horribly. And at some point, these guys are going to meet, I guess, somewhere in the middle. It's not inconceivable that Hero is a better shooter than Halliburton all season. In fact, given how things are going, it's probably likely. But I think we're going to get a little bit closer between the two. Stream, guys, it's probably Jaquez. We saw his minutes jump up last game, really pushed up into a higher level. Not super high. Still like 26, 27, and still prioritizing Hayward Highsmith. Shout out to Jaime Jaquez, the alleged rookie of the year, top 2 finisher last season and top 3 pick in that draft, in a redraft. He's fine. He's a role player. You would hope that this is when he would get the big minutes and the big production, but it's not happening. I do think there is a chance of it happening in this game, and he's worth having as long as Butler is out. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's been a good start for Jaquez. On the Pacers side, we're continually watching what Jarris Walker is doing. The steals is really where it comes in for him. He's he's almost like one of those no-scoring point guards. Rebounds, some assists, steals, blocks, and bad scoring, and iffy shooting. But we watch it, maybe streamable, and it's more important to sort of see where the minutes go. But he is one of the stream options on this team. On the next game, it is the Nets and the Knicks. There is a spread out for this game, and we're talking... it is a 10-point Knicks favorite situation. Brooklyn plays Friday, Sunday into Tuesday, Friday, Sunday. And then New York is Friday, Sunday into Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. Who's out? Day'Ron Sharpe is. Trinidad Watford's out. Bojan Bogdanovic is out. I'm expecting that Ben Simmons is out. They said the MRI was clean with the calf tightness. I really don't think he's going to play. So I'm not even going to label him doubtful. I'm just going to rule him out, but happy to be wrong on that. And Dorian Finney-Smith has been actually just upgraded now to probable. For the Knicks, Achua and Robinson are out, but they also just released an injury report, and Jalen Brunson is on there as probable. He's been dealing with an ankle problem about 4 times. I reckon he sprained it already. And the big purr himself, Karl Anthony Towns, pussy legend, is questionable. He was hurting last game, played 38 minutes, of course he did. And he's got a knee contusion, so we'll see what happens. If he is out, it's Huck, Porty, and Sims that you'd stream in. That's pretty yuck. If Brunson's out, and he won't be because he's probable, but it would be McBride that we would go for in that situation. The other thing that popped up on the injury report for this game is Nick Claxton as questionable. Now, if Claxton's out, there's no Watford, there's no Sharp, there's probably no Simmons. So I would be very interested in Noah Clowney. He would be a very clear, I think, stream. Finney Smith will play some centre, but there's literally nobody else. Clowney would get his 22, 23 minutes and be interesting. So what am I watching on the Nets? Well, last 2 games, Zaire Williams has cooked. Now that is largely because Dorian Finney-Smith was out. But if Claxton is out, does Finney-Smith slide to centre and Zaire starts anyway? Does Zaire get a bump with Ben Simmons out? Could we have no Claxton and no Simmons? So Zaire gets 30 and he's a real big role player? Where I don't think this is a long-term thing. That's not true. I think it's whatever we would say, it's a short long-term thing. Because I think that for Zaire, it might last a game or 2 here and then pop back up much longer term down the road in March. But there's going to be a hole in the middle where, like a donut, where you don't do anything. And that's what we want to see. And then for the Knicks, Jalen Brunson is what I said I wanted to watch because, man, this guy cannot get anything going. It's been a really, really poor start to the season from Brunson. I do believe that he is going to be better than this. I worry about the lack of defense because, A, he's never been good at that. That's part of the reason why some of the initial projections I had from him coming across to New York from Dallas was like he doesn't shoot enough threes, he doesn't get enough steals. And that's true. He hasn't had a single block this season. He's averaging half a steal. But he's also just well down. His usage is not, it's low. It's 30 compared to 32 last season. And I think that can rise, but assists are fine. Just no steals. He's getting no rebounds. And he's just not hitting his shots at the same level. And we need to see that change. So who are we streaming in? It's Zaire. And then it is Juice McBride in New York. Although if old mate is out, Towns, then yeah, we're streaming Sims or we're streaming Huck Porty. And there's Zaire and then Clowney would be the Nets guys with those absences that could take hold. The next game is Chicago, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Schedule-wise, Bulls Friday, Sunday, and then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Cleveland is Friday, Sunday, into Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday. Cavs are 10.5-point favourites here. Lonzo Ball is out. Winter Soldier, Max Strus is out. Sam Merrill is, I think, ruled out. I'm just going to double check. Yep, Sam Merrill has now been ruled out. He missed the last game with an illness, and he has been ruled out of this one. What are we watching here? Pat Williams is an ad. I don't believe it. I don't believe that I'm saying it, but he's getting 31 a night. He's scoring better. He's getting steals. He's rebounding okay. He is an ad. This is the best I've ever seen Patrick Williams, and I don't know that it lasts, but I actually don't care that much. Let's add him and let's find out because it's happening right now. On the Cavs side, Jarrett Allen is being a bit disappointing, I would say. He's not been terrible. That's not true. He started out the season at a level that was just no shot of being able to hold, right? Like he was really dominating and top 15 player and wasn't going to stick. And now he's had a couple of injuries. Why did that sound like Christopher Walker? Now, he's not doing anything. Blocks are down. Look at his block numbers the last few games. We can't look, so I'm not going to show you, but 1-1-1-0. It's pretty rough. Started with 4 in the first game. And then has been 1-2-0, 2-1, 0-1, 2-1, 1-1-0. Just not enough blocks. Streaming, it is Pat Williams for the Bulls, and then probably Isaac Okoro, assuming Karis LeVert's rostered, but yeah, gone. That's not really a super high priority there. Wizards and Hawks. The battle of pick 1 versus pick 2. Again, no spread or total at this point. Both teams play Friday, Sunday, and then next week both teams have 3. But the Wizards have another big hole. Monday, Friday, Sunday they play next week. So there's 3 days in the middle of next week where you get no Wizards action. And that's what Harry Potter said. And then Atlanta goes Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So they're off on the weekend. Brogdon's out. Bogdan Bogdanovic is out. Vic Krejci's out. Kobe Buffkin's out. I had Trae Young and DeAndre Hunter as questionable, but they're actually not. So I lie again. They are both, I believe, off the injury report. I'm just double checking that because I thought I had it up and I didn't. But no, Trae Young is definitely off the injury report. So your Keaton Wallace moment where ESPN added him too late, so you couldn't even stream him in and put him on waivers, and now there's no point to it. So again, shout out to them for being completely 100% on the ball as per usual. But Young and Hunter are returning, and the question is going to be, do I add DeAndre Hunter? And no, have you watched him play before? You've seen him as a player before, yeah? No, you don't. You wait and see, and maybe he aspires to be Patrick Williams. and then you'd consider it. He is not an automatic add to me at all. Alex Sarr. People are getting a little bit annoyed at him. Why is he shooting threes? Because that's how you win in the league. He's not doing it very well, and his minutes are frustrating, but he is a very clear hold for me. On the Hawks side, what am I watching? And it's Larry Nance, because I don't really know what the minutes are doing. He basically, last game, Capella played 17 minutes, Okongwu played 31, and Nance played 27. None of them at center. So they moved him to power forward. Now, does Hunter's return change that? Was that because Trey was out, so Jalen Johnson was literally playing like a point guard? What is Nance's role here? I don't think it's enough to roster him, but maybe streamable. And then Corey Kispert's getting far too many minutes. Is that because Kuzma's on a minutes restriction? Is it because Kuzma's terrible? Could both things be true? Yes. Kispert, though, has played 34 and 33 minutes the last two games after going 25, 29, 29, 30 the games before that. He's a three streamer, a point streamer. I don't think he's very good. But if you're getting those minutes, you're at least up for discussion as someone that we can consider when we're looking at those particular categories. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win that first $5 bet. In the past, you might have been getting in there for a live bet on the NFL, and you might have not been able to see the live stats or the live play-by-play, but FanDuel has that fixed. When you open it up for the live betting, all that stuff is just in the one spot, all on that one page. So you don't have to move around. You don't have to go into different positions, different pages, different apps, different devices to find all the data. It puts you in the best place to place those live bets. So when you get that hunch, get cracking over to FanDuel.com and place that first $5 bet. And if that first $5 bet wins, you get $150 in bonus bets. But maybe you want to use your first $5 bet. Maybe you want to use it on, well, I wouldn't use it on something like Rookie of the Year because it takes too long to pay out. But at the moment, the favorite on FanDuel for Rookie of the Year somehow is Jared McCain. Ahead of Ricochet, then Edie, Bub Carrington, Alex Sarr, and Dalton Connect. Wild odds. But there you go. So, never miss a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and don't forget to gamble responsibly. Okay, let's go through the rest of these games now. We're 6 deep. 7th game is the Lakers and the Spurs. The Lakers are favourite, aren't they? Yeah, they are. Lakers are 2.5-point favourites here. Both teams play Friday, Saturday, and both teams have the identical Week 5 schedule, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So that's a little bit weird to see that. And the Lakers, as you can see on that injury report, there's just no big man apart from Davis and old mate Christian Koloko, because Jackson Hayes is out, Christian Wood is out, and Jared Vanderbilt-Bar is out. So if you're in a deeper league and you're looking for big man stats, Koloko's got to be your guy. On the Spurs, Jalen Hood-Schifino missed last game. He was questionable. Remember him? Picked number 17, and then they declined his third-year rookie option. He's played 0 minutes this season. He's questionable with an illness, while Jeremy Sohan remains out for the Spurs. And I've listed Trey Jones doubtful. That's not an official status, but we are at that point where the initial time frame of him returning is here. This is where we should be. So, because I've heard nothing, I'm not going to say that he's in, but it does appear that here we go. We literally just got the report from the Spurs, and it is, Trey Jones remains out. So the doubtful was close enough. So he's not going to play. But I do believe that return is coming soon. I want to see what's happening with D'Angelo Russell because, like I said, last season he got benched. I thought, wow, that's 2 benchings so quickly. They're out. And I said, I'll drop him. No problem. And then he went on an absolute top 30 streak for like 2.5 months, and it was one of the worst drops that I made, or that I said was worth dropping. So I'm very reluctant, and I try to be unbiased with stuff. Some people confuse bias with opinion. Oh man, you don't think this guy's good, you're biased. Or that's just an opinion. But this is bias from me, and I try to keep away from it because I'm like, everything tells us that D'Angelo Russell sucks. He's the 4th offensive option at best, and they are reducing his minutes every single game. But I got burnt on that last year, so I'm scared to say that he's a drop again. When realistically, I know that he is. But I'm not going to do it. And I'm also, if you ask me, I will say don't do it. Because maybe he's traded. Maybe he's back in that starting lineup. Because the other part is that Cam Reddish is bad also. So Russell could move back in there. But 3 benchings in such a short time period is not good. So let's see what happens here. I'm going to look at Buble as well. Julian Champagny, whose minutes were up last game while the horses were down. Keldon Johnson. If he's a 30-minute-a-night player, Buble, then sure. Like, he is a 12-10 league guy. But with him and Castle and Johnson, it's really hard. And even Vassell's minutes ramping up, it's hard to see Buble doing enough to be a must-roster player. Stream guys, it's really just if you're looking for steals, that's where Cam Reddish is. But he saw his minutes cut last game as well because Dalton Connect, hit 6 in a row and Reddick just didn't take him out. It's always worth noting that with coaches. Which coaches like to do that? And Reddick has already shown an ability to do that. If someone's cooking, he will leave them keep going. And the other one that we look at on the Spurs as a streamer is unbelievably the pencil Harrison Barnes. Barnesy. Yep, Barnesy. But yeah, that's pretty disgusting if you're streaming him. And the next game is Denver going to take on whatever is left of the New Orleans Pelicans. The Nuggets, as you'll be not shocked to learn, are favourites by 9 points. Friday, Sunday for Denver into Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, while New Orleans is Friday, Saturday into Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Some very low volumes again there. Gordon is out. Vlatko Cancar is questionable, but I don't think it matters either way. And then DeJounte Murray, CJ McCollum, Herb Jones, Zion Williamson, Jordan Hawkins, and Jose Alvarado are all going to be out for the Pelicans. I said who I want to watch here is Nikola Jokic. Why? Because he is cooking. The minutes are through the roof. His efficiency is through the roof. There is a... you know what sounds crazy? Is that I think that Nikola Jokic is a sell high. Why do I think that? Because when I talked about Wemby not being a waste at pick number 1 and all of the everyone I know better than everyone, people replied, they were like, well, Jokic is doing this and he'll just keep doing it. Okay, but he might not. I love Jokic, one of my favorite players ever. I love what he done, recognized it really early with him, like incredibly early. And I was very happy to be able to do that. Criticized Michael Malone a ton for not playing him all the time. All the time. But 38 minutes at this level of rebounding and assists and field goals and free throws is probably not sticking. It's probably not. And I know he hasn't really had injuries in the past, but you know what that means? Nothing in terms of whether he gets injured in the future. Literally nothing at all. It means he might be healthy, he might get hurt. Nothing to do with it. But the more that you play, the larger your load, giggity. The more that you're out there, the more chance and fatigue leads to poorer shot selection. And there are a few risk factors. He will still probably be the number 1 player, Jokic. But I want to see what happens if he's able to play fewer minutes. Because if he's still playing 37 against the Pelicans, then I'm like, oh my God, I'm very worried. Very worried about where that goes. For the Pelicans, I want to watch Brandon Ingram. I think he's actually not a very good player. He'd be a great one-on-one player. But in a team context, I just find like he just always isn't doing the right thing. And even in like this game, it's hard, obviously, for him. But has his game like truly actually elevated that much when he's got the ball and doing it? And like, no. And then I worry about when other guys come back. Like, he shouldn't be running things and orchestrating. And then what the hell does he do? So I'm very worried about where Brandon Ingram's season goes from like here onwards. Still going to have a higher level now, but I'm very worried. And I want to see like maybe he proves me wrong and is able to do something as the number 1 guy. Stream guy for the Nuggets. This is the first time we're seeing Denver all week, by the way. Peyton Watson's been grabbed everywhere, but if he hasn't, you would do that. Otherwise, we go to Julian Strawther. Obviously, Christian Brown as well. Brown and Watson. Brown ahead of Watson because of more long-term value, but Watson, I think, is probably better short-term. And then on the Pelicans, BJ Boston's been grabbed. I think Jalen Noel is probably the next one. You could throw Yves Missi on there, but he's been grabbed in a lot of spots as well. The Phoenix Suns and the Oklahoma City Thunder is the next game that we take a look at here. We did get a couple of injury updates there. I'll talk about that in a sec. Phoenix Friday, Sunday, and then into Monday, Wednesday. This is what I mean. What the hell are these schedules? Am I missing something? Are these two teams flying to Mars to play? So Friday, Sunday. So a Sunday, Monday back-to-back. Then they play Wednesday, Phoenix. And then they're done. I've never seen a team finish a week on Wednesday. What am I missing here? Let alone 2 teams finish their week on Wednesday. The Thunder go Friday, Sunday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday. So they've got a back-to-back, and then that's it. So your streams of Ryan Dunn, Royce O'Neal, Grayson Allen, Aaron Wiggins, Cason Wallace, Isaiah Joe, Lou Dort. You're going to be sitting there with your thumb up your ass for 4 days at the end of next week, and it's burning spots. That is and I said this earlier about schedule, I've literally never seen, unless there's like a league-mandated break because of All-Star or whatever, I have never seen a gap where a team finishes a week on a Wednesday. I've never seen it. It's crazy. And even the Nuggets this week with like the 4 days off, it's crazy. I've never seen this before. I don't know what's going on. Kevin Durant's out. Cool. What else do we have injury-wise on the Suns? I'm just checking if there have been any other updates. No, we still don't have the updates on Grayson Allen or Bradley Beal. They missed the last game, and with those guys out, it boosted the value of players like Ryan Dunn and theoretically Royce O'Neal, but it was somehow Josh Okogie who popped off, and I really don't think that repeats. In terms of the Thunder, Chet's out, Pig Williams is out, Hartenstein is out, and Alex Caruso is out again, so that does further solidify Dort, Wallace, Caruso, and even deeper leagues, AJ Mitchell, not Caruso. Who's the other one? You know who it is. I don't. Wiggins, Wallace, that's who it is. But this will mean AJ Mitchell. And then very, very deep leagues, Dylan Jones, just in case. I want to watch Tyus Jones because I would say that for a lot of you, and please, if you are here, let's do an interactive segment. Have you been disappointed with Tyus Jones this season? Let me know in the comments. To me, like, it makes sense that he hasn't been highly prioritized because he's worse. And the thing about him that people froth is the assisted turnovers. But again, like some of his, when you watch him, I don't think that he is he avoids turnovers by only making easy passes. Yep. The usage isn't there, but it could be in this game. So we watch it. I want to watch the Bronco. Somehow, I believe that ESPN gave Jalen Williams small forward eligibility yesterday. People will be going, that's great. Lead that small forward eligibility. Love it. Which is great for, I say manipulation, but I don't mean that in a bad way, but fantasy manipulation. Because let's also be 100% honest. How many minutes has Jalen Williams played at small forward this season? Because not only now do they not have a center, they don't have a power forward at all. So the position that Jalen Williams should be getting is center. According to my numbers, he's at like 72% power forward, 27% center. Someone said, he should get shooting guard, small forward. Honestly, he's their power forward and he's their center now. And getting small forward and shooting guard makes no sense because if you think that he's playing shooting guard, who's playing the 4 and the 5 when he's out there? Anyway, he's been cooking. The numbers are through the roof. Big steal numbers, big deflection numbers. He's been awesome. He's actually been better than Shea over the last 2 weeks, if you can believe it. Stream-wise, Ryan Dunn probably in Phoenix if we're seeing Beal and Allen out. Royce O'Neal's still the guy that I'm interested in, but he's been shocking, obviously. And then Aaron Wiggins with the absence of Caruso. It's Wiggins, it's Wallace. Toss it up in the air and see what happens. And then you got AJ Mitchell as a deeper league shout as well. Clippers-Rockets. That's the next game up. In terms of, is there a spread? I don't believe there is. Schedule-wise, more normal here. Clippers Friday, Sunday into Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, and the Rockets are Friday, Sunday into Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Kawhi's out, Bumba's out, and Steve Adams is questionable. Now, Adams missed the last game, meaning that he probably plays in this one. That seems to be what they're doing. What else are we looking at? Oh, yeah, Chris Dunn. I know that, look, I just said go and grab Chris Dunn. People are like, why would I add Chris Dunn? Okay. When Kawhi returns, if Kawhi returns, Dunn probably isn't going to be worth it because he'll move out of the starting lineup and Kawhi will start. And yeah, he'll move in and out and sit and whatever. And there's no guarantee that Dunn remains as a 28-minute-a-night starter. There's no guarantee of that at all. But on the chance that he does, he might get 9 points, 1.8 threes, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 2.2 steals, a block. It's good enough for me. It's like, I guess, what you hoped you'd get from Alex Caruso. That is what Chris Dunn can do. More assists, probably fewer steals. That's why you would add him. Now, in points leagues, really not as interesting. Doesn't do it. Not going to be a bulk scorer. But he can do the other stuff. And that's why I would add him. And then, later on, we figure it out. On the Rockets, I want to watch Jabari Smith because I really enjoyed terrible players. He's not terrible. He will be better than this, but we are not holding. Stream-wise, it is Chris Dunn. People haven't really added him in many spots, so yeah, I'd be very happy to do that. And then Dylan Brooks is almost the Jaden McDaniels of Houston in terms of he's the Lou Dort of Houston and the Jaden McDaniels in terms of always being a stream option. I've buried the lead somewhat here. We're 35 minutes in, and there was some big-ish injury news that dropped, and that involves this game, the Warriors and the Grizzlies. The Warriors are 8.5-point favourites here. Memphis goes Friday, Sunday into Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, and this is the Warriors' final game, and that ties me back to the stuff that I said earlier, that always when something seems to drop, we get a situation where, all right, now there's no more games. And that's where the Warriors are, final game on Friday with the weekend off. But they do have a full 4-game week next week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. So who's out? Ja Morant's out, Desmond Bane's out, GG Jackson's out. Vince Williams was upgraded to doubtful last game. I'm currently going to list him doubtful here, but there's a chance he's questionable. And I would say we're probably 2 games away from Vince returning. Brandon Clark missed last game. I'll put him as questionable. But then Grizzlies legend D'Anthony Melton has a sprained ACL. Originally it was reported as an MCL, but it's an ACL. What's the difference? Well, it's a different ligament. As you're well aware, if you tear your ACL, fully tear, that is 9 to 12 months out. We know that. We know a torn ACL is bad. A torn MCL is not as long out. It's probably 6 to 7 months. They're just in different positions on the knee. The ACL, I'm dealing with a partial tear of my ACL at the moment. And, I'm probably never going to get surgery on it, so it's going to bother me my whole life. So that's great. But maybe I should get surgery. Who knows? Drop it in the chat. Should I go get my ACL surgery? ACL's at the back of the knee. MCL stands for medial, so it's on the side of the knee. Different mechanisms. ACL's worse. But we don't know the severity of this. I'm going to go ahead and tell you this is, again, that is one of the Americanisms that I've picked up. I'm going to go ahead. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and order some water. I've lost my mind. I think it's 4 weeks minimum. And I would think that you're more likely to be 2 months than 2 weeks for Melton. So he's a drop. Now, the question is, do you go and add Brandon Podziemski? I don't think so. I don't think so. Now, it's undeniable that Podziemski will play more minutes. But will he start? Or will it be Moses Moody? Or will it be Gary Payton? Or will the foreseeable future legend Steve Kerr put John Kuminga in there? What I do know is that we already know that Kerr's given us his lineup for the rest of the season twice, and now he's about to change it again. So I would watch to see what happens with Podziemski, and if you want to get out ahead of it, go for it. But nothing here suggests to me that Podziemski's now going to lock in at 30 and we're ready to go. Moody, Payton, Hield, Podziemski will all take these minutes. And it helps Kuminga with maybe some shots, not that Melton's a shots guy. It's more about getting more minutes into Hield, some more to Pods, some more to Moody, some more to Payton. Don't be shocked if Moses Moody starts next game. Kyle Anderson, I had as questionable, but I do believe that he's been upgraded to probable. Yes, indeedy. He has. What are we watching for? Zach Edey is actually putting together a really strong run. Edey is doing his work as a backup big man who cooks backup units, which I actually think is his perfect long-term role. He will get more opportunities to start, but they lasted six games or whatever, and then put him into the second unit. They started Jay Huff and Brandon Clark. I don't think Edey is the answer at starting center, and that's okay, because what he's doing at the moment is really useful still, and he should be on rosters, I believe. John Kuminga, last couple of games have been encouraging. I'm not 100% certain that he's a must-roster guy. You could think that maybe there's a couple of extra shots with Melton out, but again, Melton's a below-average usage player, and when you lose a below-average usage player out of a starting lineup, that doesn't mean that the other players get more shots. It means that another low-usage player probably just takes the same role. If you lose a 24 usage player, then yeah, everyone else gets more shots on a permanent basis. If you lose a 17 usage player, actually I don't even know what Melton's overall usage was, but a general idea in terms of, and I like to provide some generalities. We get into specifics more on this show, but I like to provide some generalities so when you look at something, you can sort of have a ballpark idea of how this stuff goes. But when you lose a 15 usage player, it doesn't mean that everyone just gets their shots, because we've always got to remember what comes back. Let me have a look. You know what? I stand corrected. Melton, 23 usage. That's interesting. It seems very high for what he does, but 23 usage. Remembering that usage is turnovers as well, not that he averages many of those. I'm a little shocked that it's that high, to be honest. So maybe there is 1 or 2 shots for Kuminga. But usually, as a general rule now, as we just extend this show for way too long for no reason, if your low usage player is gone out of the lineup, it doesn't mean the other players get to do more unless the replacement is a lower usage guy. Yes? But if Hield's getting more minutes, he's a high usage player. Podziemski, about the same. maybe a little bit lower. All right? Cool? I guess. Who are the streams? Laravia, probably. His assist numbers are up, although with Pippen and Smart both playing, not sure that'll hold. He's probably streamable. Jalen Wells, potentially as well. And then on the Warriors, if Pajemski and Kuminga and Hield have been added, the one that I would go to is Moody or Looney. For different reasons, obviously, but those other guys would be the preference. Man, we are snails pacing this one. Wolves. And you know what? Because I know that I'm not doing my usual recap show today, so maybe I'm just trying to get my words out. Wolves and Kings. Minnesota is Friday, Sunday, into another insane schedule. Thursday, Sunday. What is this? So they don't play the first 3 days of next week. And the Kings have Friday, Saturday into Monday, Friday, Sunday. So also 3 days break in the middle of the week. What is going on? I got the feeling, and I haven't added this up, that next week just has no games on. Mike Conley will be back. He rested the last game. Malik Monk's out. Devin Carter's out. Orlando Robinson's out. And this guy is so durable. He can play all the minutes in the world. He never missed. DeMar DeRozan is doubtful. So DeRozan with his back issue is doubtful. Who could have thought that a 34-year-old leading the league in minutes 2 years in a row might catch up to him? Not me. So what are we watching for? Julius Randle started out the season really well and has stunk the last two games. I guess that's what happens when you play the defensive powerhouse that is Jeremy Grant, but he's really been poor. So I need to see him bounce back. On the King side of things, Fanapants Kevin Huerter cooked last game. Unbelievable. Big minutes. And he won't be that good, but he will have the chance to be that good. And that's what's important, and that is why we roster him for now. Jaden McDaniels, the perennial stream legend, there he goes. Why don't we just call him the Babbling Brook? What's a good name for a creek? Is the Amazon. Streaming feels more like smaller bodies of flowing water versus the big, bustling Mississippi. What's a small creek? Dawson. All right, Jaden McDaniels. Dawson. We can stream him in. And then Keon Ellis is probably the other one we look at there for the old Sack Kings. And that is all of the games. But that don't worry, we've still got a little bit more to do. I'm going to keep you for a little bit, maybe 5 more minutes. It's all 5 more minutes, and you can go outside and play. The chunks. I'm not going to count Friday because there's 12 games on. So what happens over the next Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday period? Are there any teams that we can target? And yes, there is one team that plays 3 games in 4 nights. It's the Charlotte Hornets. Grant Williams is a rosterable guy anyway, given their absences. Now, you can throw Moussa Diabate in there. I've got Cody Martin on that list as well. 3 games, 4 nights. Saturday through Tuesday. These other guys are all available in over 55% of Yahoo leagues, and they just need to be rostered anyway, but they've got 2 games in this period. BJ Boston, Tari Eason, Peyton Watson, and Aaron Wiggins. The last two, maybe you say not as much of must rosters. I would put Watson with Eason and Boston, though. But Wiggins, a little bit of a boost here. No Caruso in one of those games. Plus, you get the 2 games across those 4 days also. The next thing I just want to quickly bring up as well is over the next 7 days, not even including those stupid Phoenix and Thunder schedules, but over the next 7 days, Friday through to Thursday next week, and we work, we're big Gregorians here. We love a calendar, right? We love a week. We love a set structure. So we're looking at a 2-game week. That sucks. And it does. But there are 2-game weeks all through the NBA. Maybe I should start doing more of this. There are 5-game weeks all through the NBA. They just don't start on Mondays. Because if you look at them starting on Mondays, that happens twice for the year. I think it's the same week with Brooklyn and Washington. But over the next 7 days, Friday to Thursday, Boston plays 2 games and Portland plays 2 games. We already talked about Portland's weirdly low schedule here as well, which makes it even more confusing to deal with their center situation. And Klingon is a better stash than Williams because he is the guy that's more likely to be there and playing all season versus Williams and Ayton. But 2 games, next 7 nights for Boston and for Portland. I do not know how this show got away from me so much, and I babbled and rambled and wasted your time, so you can get a refund on your $0 for this show, so I apologize for that. Hit the thumb on your way out. Double bang. Hit me up. Blue Sky, joshloyd.bsky.social. We are done here. Thank you so much. Yeah, Blue Sky. I tell you what, how come you're not on X anymore? Well, for a start off, you called it X, so that's probably why. All of that just soured me. There's just so much that's wrong with that place. And that is the only time I will ever call it that letter that comes before Y. We are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.